So this is where we were at the end of the last video. Our app was working fine except when, after receiving data back from Apollo, if the user refreshes the page in the browser, the listings would vanish. Let's fix this. Now the reason why this happens is that we were pushing data to the page using socket.io as it was being received. But when we refresh the page and socket.io on the server reconnects to socket.io on the client, we need some way to resend and re-render all the data from the item array back on the page. So back in our main plugin, what we want to do when socket.io reconnects on a page refresh is to check if item array is empty or not. If not, then it means we have data in the array that we want to see on the page, and hence we would want to push it again to the page using the socket instance. You would remember that we did a similar check when we were setting the state of our process button. So leveraging the same code block where we were checking to see if the length of the item array is greater than 0 or not, we'll append another instance of the emit method to the one that was emitting the button state as false, and this time we'll call the event allData like so. And for its contents, we'll simply send our entire item array since we want to render everything in one go this time. Then go into the index.html file and create a socket event listener like so to listen for the allData event. Inside the callback, we'll have to loop over all the data in the array. So access data.dataArray and use the map method to iterate over the array, and we'll access every individual object inside that array using the item variable in the callback, and we'll use the render template function to return the HTML that we want to display as we did earlier. I'm using a variable called itemList to concatenate in the HTML for all the entries in the array before using jQuery to insert all the HTML rows at once. The item array's contents are essentially strings returned from Apollo, and hence we are using json.parse to turn them back into objects, which can then be used by the render template function. So once again, no need to rerun the app since NodeMon would have done it for us, but our Python script needs to be restarted if it had processed the data earlier. There is a small check in the Python script that prevents it from running after one batch of records has been successfully processed. So press Ctrl+C on Windows to exit the script and just restart it by typing python space processcards.py and press enter. Now as before, run through by pressing the process button . And once done, hit reload in the browser, and you can now see that the data persists, which is precisely what we wanted. Now here's one more thing that I wanted to demonstrate. For this, terminate the NodeMon process and restart your Node app. And on the other hand, terminate the Python script if it was running already, and don't restart it yet. Now, without running the Python script, we'll hit the process button in our Node app. Obviously, no data flows in. But the good thing about implementing a message queue is that it will store the data until the receiver comes back online. This can happen if the subscriber instance or the receiver instance of the app is offline or has crashed or is restarting due to some error. Now once I bring back the Python script online, it immediately receives the data and sends back the result, which can now be seen on our page within the Node app.